How to rewire your mind for relentless growth. The night sky above you is not empty. It is a blacksmith's forge, roaring with unseen fire. Every star is a hammer strike, shaping the raw iron of potential you carry in your skull. Feel it, the metallic taste of possibility at the back of your tongue. Somewhere in the hush before dawn, when most people are still sedated by comfort, a solitary decision ignites. I will not live one more hour inside a cage of inherited limits. That vow, whispered once with total sincerity, detonates louder than any cannon Carnegie ever financed, sharper than the light bulb Edison vowed to perfect after 1,000 humiliating failures. Your mind was designed as a set of electrical rivers, yet routine turned it into a muddy canal. Tonight, we blow the banks wide open. Neurons are iron filings. Thought is the magnet. Aim that magnet with unwavering focus, and the filings rearrange into the architecture of destiny. Growth is not a hobby, it is a feral instinct buried under politeness. Unearth it. The world does not reward good intentions, it pays compound interest to those who convert inner voltage into outward velocity. So inhale with conviction, because the oxygen you draw fuels more than lungs. It fuels a revolution of wiring that begins where excuses die. Mindset is the soil, and every opinion you entertain is a seed flung toward harvest. Henry Ford laid down the immutable law when reporters mocked his lack of schooling. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. He didn't recite it as poetry. He cast it as iron truth molten from the furnace of his experience. Shift the proposition. Ask not can I, but how will I, and notice how the subconscious mobilizes like a silent army awaiting simple orders. Picture a field of steel pylons rising inside your skull, each one a new belief driven deep into neural ground. Every repetition of a chosen mantra, relentless growth is my default state, wraps insulation around that pylon, turning flimsy wishbone into titanium habit. Neuroscientists call it myelination. Hill called it autosuggestion. You will call it the day gravity switched allegiance and began pulling you up. So feed the soil relentlessly. Books devoured before sunrise, mentors dissected word by word, silence honored so your internal compass can recalibrate. You are not escaping mediocrity, you are evaporating it, turning the very concept into vapor that can find no surface to condense upon. Belief is the alchemy that converts invisible blueprint into stadium-shaking concrete. Andrew Carnegie scanned the smokestack horizon of Pittsburgh and saw not soot, but sculpture, a skyline he could command like orchestra brass. He hired a young reporter, Hill himself, to decode that miracle, and the first cipher carved in stone is this: burning desire illuminates paths where logic sees only barricades. Light that desire now. See it as plasma coursing through every capillary, raising the temperature of doubt until doubt cannot survive. The subconscious is not moral, it is obedient. Tell it you are an architect of relentless expansion, and it will rebuild synapses in that image, laying new circuitry with the precision of a Swiss watchmaker. Guard that message like Fort Knox. No gossip, no diversion, no casual cynic retains visiting rights inside your mental perimeter. If they approach, recall Edison's reply when asked about his 1,000 failures. I did not fail 1,000 times, I discovered 1,000 methods that do not work. That sentence is a battering ram. Swing it against every door marked impossible. Clarity carves channels through mental granite so the river of action can run straight. Walt Disney stood on an empty Floridian swamp and pictured an empire of laughter so vividly that builders spoke of seeing his sketches float above the marsh. Do likewise. Close your eyes and craft the hologram of your ultimate life in high definition. Hear the footsteps on polished floors, smell the cedar desk, feel the letterhead embossed with your emblem. Specificity is spiritual GPS. A blurred target never shatters. Define the revenue to the dollar, the impact to the soul, the legacy to the century. Clarity is not rigidity, it is luminous guidance that flexes with terrain but never loses orientation. Write the vision down in ink, because ink is blood outside the body, and blood never lies. Review it at dawn, when the world is still muted. Review it at dusk, when fatigue invites compromise. Clarity reset twice daily is more potent than caffeine coursing once an hour. Purpose is the furnace that keeps ambition molten long after novelty cools. In the trenches of World War II, Viktor Frankl discovered men could survive starvation and horror if they located a why larger than their own pulse. Your why must dwarf your comfort, your pay grade, even your lifespan. Perhaps it is to rewrite the family name in gold instead of debt. Perhaps it is to engineer breakthroughs that outlive your bones. Anchor that purpose so deep, no storm of ridicule can uproot it. Then marry it to discipline. Discipline is freedom wearing steel boots. Design rituals that operate independent of mood. Pages read, perspiration earned, metrics reviewed. Guard the morning like a lioness guards cubs. If sunrise finds you idle, the day belongs to lesser priorities. If sunrise finds you advancing, the day kneels before you. Lincoln drafted policy letters before breakfast because he understood that decisions birthed in solitude bend the arc of nations. Draft your own proclamations. Let them echo through the hallways of your schedule.
Action is the clarion call that separates philosophers from architects of reality. Imagery without execution is spiritual counterfeit. So crash the gate. Launch the product while the logo is still imperfect. Record the podcast before the voice quivers into polished monotony. Pitch the investor when the deck is only 90% bulletproof. Progress loves momentum more than perfection. Remember General Patton. A good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan executed next week. Every strike of movement sends fresh data into the loop. Feedback, failure, refinement, advance. This is the gyroscope of adaptability. Thomas Edison rewired entire factories overnight when new filament formulas demanded fresh assembly methods. He didn't lament sunk cost, he saluted updated truth. Modeled this elasticity. Your mind, freshly rewired, must treat change like oxygen, indispensable and abundant. Gratitude is not a polite accessory. It is biochemical rocket fuel. When you catalog blessings with forensic detail, every ally, every sunrise, every unnoticed miracle, dopamine and serotonin surge, priming the cortex for higher-order creativity. Carnegie thanked his rivals because they forced his standards higher. Do likewise. Let hardship pay you dual dividends, the lesson and the reason to celebrate mastery. Imagine Japanese artisans restoring shattered porcelain with gold, a practice called kintsugi. They do not hide the crack, they glorify it, because fracture plus healing equals art. Your setbacks, gilded with gratitude, become trophies of resilience that the timid cannot purchase. Learning is the perpetual levy you pay for residency in the kingdom of growth. If a day passes without acquired insight, interest on ignorance compounds. Schedule curiosity like rent. Attend seminars, dissect biographies, interrogate results. George Washington Carver could distinguish 46 types of peanuts, but more impressive was his devotion to interrogating creation itself at dawn in silent prayer, listening for new combinations nature wanted to reveal. Cultivate equal humility. Drop the pretense of completeness. Adopt the identity of a permanent apprentice. The mind you rewired is not a static circuit board. It is organic scaffolding that extends upward with every fresh upgrade of awareness.
Resilience is the muscle fiber woven through the entire anatomy of greatness. It is forged in micro moments nobody applauds. Another email after midnight. Another rejection rotated into feedback. Another hill sprint when legs beg for surrender. Lincoln endured electoral defeats that would crush modern careers. Yet each loss sharpened his moral authority until it could carve emancipation into law. Treat every bruise as proof the fight still matters. Visualize a thermostat inside your chest, and each adversity turns the dial higher, triggering systems built to operate only in extreme heat. You are now comfortable where others suffocate. And now, with synapses blazing, purpose anchored, vision vivid, discipline marching, gratitude shimmering, and resilience armor plated, stand still for one heartbeat and feel the hum. That vibration is not metaphor. It is measurable electromagnetic resonance emanating from rewired neural networks. Carry it into the street. Let your handshake transmit it, your posture broadcast it, your silence amplify it. Because the ultimate aim is not merely personal ascension, but atmospheric transformation. When one mind detonates into relentless growth, it radiates permission for entire communities to shed the husk of small thinking. So walk forth as living proof that the chain of human potential has no ceiling, only links awaiting fire. Stoke that fire daily, protect it like sacred flame, and watch the horizon tilt forward to meet your stride. The forge in the sky still hammers, stars still strike, and you are the blade it is shaping. Tempered, unbreakable, and forever cutting a wider path for those who dare follow.